So anybody wanting to get into this business, if you're in it for the money, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. The affordability was for like a 1,200 square foot. So that's what we chose, and we just made it work.
So I have a really exciting guest this week. It's actually something that's kind of dear and near to my heart. My grandmother was a cancer survivor, so I know the struggle of what it's like to have, somebody's history in cancer and what that all looks like and entails. So today I have Lori with All About You Women's Boutique. It is here in Ocala, and they do some really awesome things for women that are suffering with breast cancer. They help with from the beginning all the way until they're in remission and kind of provide all kinds of different services. So it's really special. I'm really excited to share her story with you. So let's dive in.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing good, surviving this awful heat that we have.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about All About You Boutique and kind of how you got in it and just your overall story.
My overall story on how I got in this was I wanted to help women feel beautiful again. They come in, I worked at another place, and the other place that I worked at, it was like there wasn't much room, just one small room you could help them with. So they didn't have a choice of a lot of things, and I wanted to add beautiful things for them, like bathing suits, like nightgowns with pockets in them, and they just didn't have them. So I decided that Ocala had nothing. So I wanted to go ahead and do this. So I went to SCORE and I said, listen, guys, I'd really like your help. This is what I want to do. I said, but if you can't help me, I'm going to anyway. And the gentleman who helped us, he said, Lori, I couldn't let you fail. He said, I knew you were going to do it anyway. I said, well, I really appreciate that. So he helped us through the whole product and the process. And once we got to where we could open the store, he said, okay. He said, I've just put you through a 2-year college course. I said, oh, okay. Now it's time to pick your location, pick everything out. So we opened the store May 19th of 2008. I've gotten my LLC on October of 2007. So that whole time we got to train and figure out what we were going to put in the store. There was more work than I thought there was available to do. So we found this place. We had to search for a place that had a lot of traffic. At that time, there wasn't much out on 200. They weren't built up at all like they were here. So we chose this place. And going through it, we built enough rooms. The affordability was for like a 1,200 square foot. So that's what we chose, and we just made it work. So we had put all kinds of stuff in, and through your trials of all this, you find out what sells and what doesn't. And we thought nutrients would help, but vitamins and stuff, that didn't work. So through the years, we've just figured out what does work for these ladies. And the reason I did this was because I really wanted them to feel beautiful. When you go through breast cancer, and by the way, I'm not a survivor, I just had the passion to help women. So when you go through this, they come here and they're broken. They cry, they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. So we help them through that. We go ahead and we fit them, and then we turn them around and have them look in the mirror when they're all put back together. And they just cry with joy. It just helps them so much in their self-esteem along with their balance. Because if they don't wear breast prosthesis, their balance gets off. They get shoulder problems, and some of them walk hunched over because they don't have that balance. So that is one of the reasons why I did that. After that, we figured out that a lot of them either did not have insurance or their insurance didn't cover it. That's devastating. We've had so many women that their chemotherapy costs them, and all of the medical issues cost them so much money. By the time they get here, there is no more money left. So what do? You have to find a way to help them. So I did a couple of different things. I tried to get the companies to help me but they couldn't just give away product. So we opened our nonprofit in 2018. I have put ladies in a fashion show since 2012, and I wanted them to walk down a runway and see what it was like to feel beautiful again. They are so nervous before they get up on that stage that they're like, I can't do this. And I say, yes, you can. I said, you just go up there and you just feel beautiful. Show the audience you are still alive. And when they would come down, they would cry and they would say, thank you for making me. It's changed me. So it really does give them a good perspective on things. This year, they're going to dance down the runway, which is amazing. Last year, they started it, and the audience just loved it. We had Channel 20 News there. They filmed it. They're coming again this year. I walked into Chico's one day. I was just looking for things. I was looking for something pink, and I explained to the lady what I did, and she asked me if they could be the people that use the clothing line this year. And I said, yes. I said, of course you can. So what they plan on doing is not only do the girls get a discount, they're giving the entire audience a discount. And they will announce that at the fashion show also.
Okay, that's awesome. I think that's super exciting. I think Ocala, for one, I think really needs something like this. I don't really think we always focus so much on community when it comes to healthcare. And I find that's something that Ocala hopefully will continue to grow on, but I don't see it as much as I have in other places. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just my perspective of it anyway. So I think that's good what you're doing, especially helping those with cancer. Because I know my grandmother, she had metastatic to the bones. She wasn't supposed to live, but she did by the grace of God. And so she ended up living until she was 65. And if you showed her any of those pictures during that time, she really, like you were talking about, they'd feel terrible about themselves. They hate looking at themselves. And while she didn't have breast cancer, it was still the same. She didn't have any hair. She was very swollen from all the medication, all the above. So I think having a place where they feel that their voice is heard, and that also having a place where somebody's encouraging that they can be beautiful women again, and that's okay.
They can. They truly can. There's been so many women that come in here and they're crying because they don't have any hair. So we have a nice wig selection for them. I also order the wigs. If they don't, we've got a lot of books, and they pick out the style. I've had some women want to stay with the same style.
Okay.
So we go through the books and we find something as similar. Okay. One of my beauticians is going to be volunteering over at the fashion show. Okay. She cuts wigs. So she will gladly go ahead and cut the wigs the way the women want them. I have not really found anybody in Ocala that wants to, because once you cut the wig, if you make a mistake, there's no going back.
No.
So this lady came from Tampa. She moved here recently.
Okay.
Her name is Alyssa. And she said, don't worry about it. Just send them to me and I will help them with it. I said, okay. So luckily now we do have a contact for that. And we have 2 people doing hair at the fashion show for these ladies. And we have, I believe, 2 or 3 people doing makeup.
Okay, that's super awesome.
So these girls will be in the back getting all beautied up and everything, and then they get to wear their new outfits. So it's going to be very, very nice.
Yes, I'm excited for you guys with the event. When is that going to be?
The event is October 6th, and it's on a Sunday. And this is our flyer.
Okay.
And the doors open at 11. Lunch is served at 1,
okay.
And then the fashion show starts at 2. We have all kinds of raffles going on. There is one wall that's just lined up with all raffles. And so the community has been generous to us and giving us things that we need for the raffle baskets. And then I have the girl that she puts all the raffle baskets together. And this year we're also having what we call a bundle of joy, or a bucket of joy.
Okay.
And that is $500 worth of gift cards. And it will be drawn at the fashion show. Tickets are available here. They can come and get them anytime. You do not have to be present to win that prize.
Okay.
So if they just want to buy tickets, I've had people from out of town call us because they've seen it on Facebook. And they're like, I want to buy these tickets. Okay, no problem. So it can be sent to them. It's a small enough item that can be sent to them. So that was kind of nice. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty interesting. I kind of want to back up a little bit about your story, where you're talking about how you got in contact with SCORE, and I feel like that is an unutilized resource that a lot of people, I don't think, even know exists.
They exist, yes.
And they are very helpful. Actually, when I was in college, we had a SCORE woman come, and she talked about, I have a dietetics major, so she owned a bunch of restaurants, and she talked about how she went to SCORE herself, and they helped her put together all these businesses, and she bought and sold businesses and did all of this, and now she's giving back and now is a SCORE instructor as well.
That's awesome.
And it still exists. It's still a resource that people can use.
Yes, because they're retired business people. So they have all that expertise, which is a godsend.
It really is.
It truly is. I really appreciated the help that we got.
Yes, and they have all kinds of classes and stuff. They still do all of that. Whatever you dealt with in 2007, they still do, and they probably do more because, technology and Zoom and all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever
I'm sure they do.
When COVID hit, I started my own little business, and I reached out to SCORE myself. Things didn't really go as well as I wanted them to, how it goes. But I still reached out to that resource, and they were super helpful in talking to them. I did want to do something with, restaurant, doing, health code violations and stuff like that, and teaching and assisting restaurants and to pass their health code violations. That was what I was wanting to do at the time, and now I'm a realtor. You talk about a switch, right?
Yes.
But I love my job. I wouldn't change it for anything. So let's talk a little bit about Ocala's growth, because you've been here since 2007.
Yes.
And you have really seen how Ocala has changed.
It has grown and changed, yes. We now get people even outside of Ocala. So, and it's really different to me that even though the community is growing and all around the community, there's not many breast cancer stores available. So the boutiques have gone down, but the people are coming still.
I know, I think people thought the internet would kind of, you could buy it online, but I feel
Yeah, but how do you buy something that has to be fit? We have professional fitters here. There's 2 certified, 1 in the middle of getting certified. And we have to go in there, you measure the patient, you have to fit them, and there's challenges in fitting them. I mean, some of them have the radical mastectomies still, which I haven't seen many lately, but when I first opened, there was a lot of them.
Can you explain what that is?
A radical mastectomy is actually when they go in and they take down to the bone almost. So they have a big scoop. It's not flat and easy to fit with the breast form. On one patient, I don't know how I thought about it, but she was a radical. She was an older lady, so she had had this 30 years before, but she was still a survivor. And she said, Lori, I can't get this breast form to fit. I said, okay. I said, if you give me a few minutes, I said, I want to try a few things. So I did. I found it was a firm foam breast form, and I turned it inside out.
Okay.
So instead of the outside there, it was flat here because the rest of it fit inside where her cave was. And then I fit her with a regular breast prosthesis, and she looked at that and she said, I'd have never believed it. I said, I wouldn't have either, and I don't know, God just kind of sometimes gives me this.
Yeah.
I said, so we're going to go with it. And I said, as long as you're happy. She said, I am truly happy.
Well, you were talking about the people going online. I think that's what, a lot of places, I think, assume that people would go online for. But I also think there's something special about that human touch. Mm-hmm. When they come in, yes, there's AI, and maybe AI could have some way of, doing it better or coming up with it. But there's no human emotion. This is very emotional, very...
It is very...
like you said,
they need a hug.
Yes. And a lot of times people, they don't have any support. They have nobody.
Have nothing. One lady had to be the support of her whole family.
And like you were, let's talk a little bit about this because it makes me think of that. So explain what this little
This is our bear bag, and this goes into every surgeon's office. I drop these off. I make sure that they have a good supply of them. So when the patient comes in, the patient is just kind of goes blank. So what you're going to do is the doctors will give them these bear bags, and we've got little bears. And I get these ordered all the time. Sometimes I run out of pink and I have to go to white, but it's okay. But we have all kinds of different paperwork. And there is one about drain tubes. And then with the drain tubes, there is actually a chart in here that they can fill in and take it back to their doctor, and then he knows how much fluid is coming out on a daily basis. So we made sure to keep that in there. There's stuff in here about flying. A lot of people don't know that once you have breast cancer and your lymph nodes are taking out, when you fly, you have to have an arm sleeve, because those lymph nodes could be 10 times you fly, could be 1 time you fly, and then all of a sudden your arm just swells up. And now you've got lymphedema and you've got to deal with it. So to them, this information is good for them. They'll know, hey, I'm planning a trip. I've got to get this. And as long as they have that sleeve, they just put that sleeve on just before they fly. The cabin pressure doesn't irritate the arm then. And then as soon as they land, they can take it off. So it just helps with the cabin pressure. Yes, and then people they give us little goodies.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we put a bunch of little goodies in here. And then usually a calendar I put in here so they can mark down their next date of the doctor's visit or anything else that they need.
Okay, well, I think that's really great. I know that, like we were talking about, cancer, it can be very overwhelming, and so
it is, you forget.
Yeah, you forget everything.
You do.
Well, it's kind of, if you feel like it's the end of your world and the end of your life, but it very well could be, because you are fighting for it, and so it's very traumatic. It's kind of like 0 to 100. Sometimes women go in, I know, or people in general will go in and get a scan or this, that, or whatever, and then find out that they have stage 4 cancer, and it goes from 0 to 100. It is the reality.
It is, and the year before they were clean.
Mm-hmm. They did everything that they thought was right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's wicked. It can be anyway. So I kind of want to talk on a little bit of a lighter note. So since you've been here for so long, how has it been to be a small business in Ocala? Because we've been talking about the growth and all the support that you've had.
It actually has been very good. We have had a lot of clients come in, and word of mouth gets around. And so the next thing we know, we have them bringing in their friends. Doctors' offices have, heard of us. If they haven't, someone goes in and tells them about us, or we market them. And they've all been very, very supportive of us. So it's been very, very good.
No, I'm glad, especially with Ocala's growth. I'm happy to hear that, it is still kind of that way. And I think a lot of newcomers coming in, which is who I deal with a lot, they don't really realize how word of mouth is still such a thing here.
I know, they don't.
They really don't. They don't know that word of mouth still matters, because it does.
Yes, it does.
It's still Ocala in some ways.
Yeah.
In some ways it is. It's changing, though, for sure.
Yes.
It's definitely, I kind of wanted your thoughts on that as well. Like, what do you think of the growth? You think it's bad? You think it's good? What's your opinion?
I think it's good that we have the growth. We just got to be able to keep up with the growth.
I agree with you on that.
As long as we can keep up with it, everything will be good. I mean, the new apartments that are going up everywhere, it's amazing. And it also brings job opportunities to Ocala. And once you have the job opportunities, more people will come.
I know Ocala was ranked, I think, number 5 in the most prized after city, which I'm sure in 2007 when you moved here, you never thought Ocala would be
I never thought that, ever. No. All I knew was I wanted to open this store and help the women.
Are you originally from Florida?
No, I'm from Michigan.
Okay, from Michigan. I like Michigan, actually. We have some friends that live in Michigan, and
Yep.
It's a nice state. I like it.
It is. There's a lot to do in it.
Mm-hmm.
They've got beautiful lakes.
They do. I understand
yeah.
why Michiganders like Florida
Yes.
because of the lake thing and the
Oh,
water.
yeah. We're surrounded by them all.
I know. It's really not that much different in some ways. When I drove up there and I saw the lakes and everything, I said, now I understand. Like, I understand what the appeal is to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Because you kind of feel like you're at home. Just a lot. It's a whole lot hotter.
It is a whole lot hotter.
Yeah, it's a whole lot
If you were
hotter.
to go to Michigan right now, it would probably be about 70 degrees.
I know. We went up there for my friend's wedding, and we were sitting outside and, chit-chatting or whatever, and her mom's, like, fanning herself. Everybody's fanning themselves, and we're like, this is nice. Like,
I know. I'm always wearing a sweater or a jacket, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Well, I'm from Florida. My blood is thin.
Yeah. I know, because they were sweating. They're like, this is hot. And we got up though that morning before the wedding, and we went and walked and had coffee. I mean, we're in June. Didn't sweat, didn't anything.
Oh no, it was
so
cool.
Oh, so wonderful. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, now I understand why people move. Move from there, to here or in our snowbirds. I never understood.
Oh,
that.
the snowbirds are always gone.
Yeah, but I don't blame them. I would be up there too if I had the option.
When it hits September, they all come back.
Yep.
And then when it hits like March or April, they start moving back.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I think it's it's kind of funny, but I didn't really understand that until I went there myself. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? I know you have some extra
yes,
stuff.
I do have some extra stuff. This is our bucket of joy.
Okay.
And then you just have to either call us, or you can come in and purchase tickets, or you can purchase them at the fashion show.
Okay.
Okay? This here, we are always looking for volunteers.
Okay.
And so we've written up a piece if anybody would like to help us volunteer, because as we grow, we just got a lot more events and we need a lot more help with it.
Okay.
So this is just, we're asking. And then this just talks about the breast cancer group and what we do and what our purpose is. And that, of course, is to help women with breast cancer be able to afford their stuff.
Okay. Then you want to talk a little bit about your donation room?
Yes. I wanted to show you this too.
That's fine.
We do make the girls, and they're in a calendar,
Okay.
every year. And what they do is they get the top picture.
Okay.
This one is anything they want to have their picture taken. This is always a single shot because they tell their journey through their breast cancer.
Okay.
And so it's really amazing to listen to the new stories that come through and what got them through it and how they got through it. Mm-hmm. And it's just amazing for them to read. So anybody that comes to the fashion show gets a calendar with that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's super cool.
All right. And you want to go into the donation room? Just tell me about it. Okay. In our donation room, we have all kinds of gently used items. So there's wigs in there. We have ladies who make blankets and scarves, breast forms in there. Anything these ladies can use that is gently used. We have everybody in Ocala drops them off. We had one lady drop off 6 breast forms at one time. She was cleaning her closet. And it was okay with us because that helps us. Mm-hmm. And we just go through everything that is donated. If it's clean and everything, it's good. We make sure we wash everything before it's hung up or put away. Anything that is not, we just throw that away, of course, because you can't give that to someone.
Yeah, I understand that. But I think it's good because especially with the way insurance and stuff has been.
Oh, insurance has been tough on these ladies, and now it keeps getting worse.
You want to talk a little bit about that, like maybe a story or something?
Well, the insurances, when the ladies come in, they're told that everything is covered at 100%. It's not. It's not. 90% of the insurances only pay a percentage, and they leave the other percentage to the patient. Well, then you have insurances, I don't know if they're reps, I don't know, but they tell them everything is covered, you don't have to pay for a thing. So when they get here, then they're angry because we have to tell them what's going on really. And what they have done is, in the years, we're supposed to always get a raise as everybody else does. They're knocking the prices down lower. And if you get contracted with them, it's very seldom they'll let you negotiate a higher price. I have been with one company probably, I want to say 6-7 years, tried to negotiate a contract, and no, they won't negotiate at all. I am working with another company that says they have durable medical equipment companies here, but there's no mastectomy. And so I tried to talk to them about it, and they said, no, you have to wait till next year. So we have to wait another year now to get involved in that insurance. So it's challenging.
It's definitely challenging, but I applaud you for at least trying to make it work. It sounds like you definitely aren't going to get, you aren't the give up type anymore.
No, I'm not the give up type. We just keep going, because eventually, now I have had insurances when the patients call the insurance companies listen because they've had so many. They call us up and they said, we'd like, you guys to be a provider. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then we are allowed to be a provider for that. So hopefully we have enough people with different insurances that we don't accept. The patients will start calling and saying, hey, we need them in network. And then maybe eventually the rest will come on board.
I'm hoping, because I think it's great that you have the donation room, so then at least they can maybe get something
Yes.
to help. It's better than nothing anyway.
Yes.
I do think that's great. So towards the end, I always ask everybody that I interview, if you were to tell somebody to do what you're doing, which I think what you're doing is great, what advice would you tell them?
You have to do it with heart and passion. These women are tender. And so as long as you have the compassion to help them through it, that makes you a good person to help them. So anybody wanting to get into this business, if you're in it for the money, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. You have to want to help.
I think that applies to any business.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way. I was actually just talking to my dad about that. Caring about people, loving people, wanting to be helpful, and really be a community person that contributes some type of value without any monetary giving.
Correct.
No matter what you do, not expecting to get anything back, really does make a difference in the long term.
It does. It does.
So is there anything else you want to share before we end?
I think that's it.
I think we covered everything. Well, I appreciate it, Lori, for you letting me come and highlight you. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm excited to hear about your event, and hopefully we can maybe sell it out. I know Elizabeth said it's never been sold out
We're
before.
close to being sold out.
Awesome. So let's
let's
get it done.
hope it.
Let's hope it. All right,
Yes.
well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and look forward to you guys seeing the next one. Bye-bye.